Like, sometimes you just have to stop and pinch yourself. Look, I'll show you a perfect example of this. This is one of my VSLs that I put on YouTube channel a few years ago. Now, YouTube paid me $266,000 in AdSense, okay? So you would say, you know, very decent. You got paid $250,000 for a YouTube video. That's impressive. Now, what you don't see is that this video alone generated me $20 million in sales. YouTube paid me $250,000 to make $20 million. This is the negative cost of acquisition, the ability to attract clients without paying and even making money during that client acquisition process. By the way, just so you know the numbers that actually went into this, about 10 million people watched this video, and from that 10 million people, I think it was like 12 or 13,000 people actually bought a product, an info product that I offered at the end if people wanted to take it a step further past what I actually taught in the training. And that info product was $1,500, so yeah, I mean, you can do the math. $20 million in sales. And by the way, because there's no cost of acquisition in terms of gross profit, I'm not talking as a business, I'm talking gross profit. It was about $20 million in our company's pocket. So clearly this stuff works. So now that you understand the power of content, how do you actually make content that attracts the right audience and allows you to attain a negative cost of acquisition? Well, content all starts with visibility. You see, once you've picked your platform, you need to start posting. Not just posting now and again, you just start posting consistently. Lots of people look at my YouTube growth and claim that I got lucky or I was just in the right place at the right time. What you don't see is I have posted 439 videos over the last 9 years. That equates to roughly a video a week for a 9-year period. The reason I am visible is because I have always been consistent. But consistency does not guarantee results. You see, with the right strategy, you can grow your audience in just a few months. I'm gonna show you a channel called Callaway as an example. He started his channel just over 4 months ago, and take a look at his growth in 4 months. In the last 4 months, he's grown 75,000 subscribers, 1.6 million views, 21 videos, and I can almost guarantee you that in those 4 months, he has made at a minimum $250,000, potentially upwards of $1 million from that audience that he's garnered in just literally the last 120 days. Now, there are 3 content pillars you must incorporate into your strategy: authenticity, impact, and intention. Authenticity is content that is true to you. Impact is content that solves a problem. And intention is content that attracts your perfect audience. So let's start off with authenticity. You see, when you watch or read my content, I do not try to emulate anyone else, and I am unapologetically me. I understand some of you guys will hate me, some of you guys will love me. Quite frankly, I have no control over that. All I have control over is, am I showing up to the world as me? If you don't like that, that's cool, that's fine. I will never be everyone's cup of tea, and that is totally fine, okay? Now I'll give you an example of this. Since day one, I have always dressed the same. This is a photo, 7 years ago at this point? So yeah, this is a photo from 7 years ago, and this is a photo from 2 years ago. I have always just dressed like a bit of a grandpa, okay? So that's me. Now I know these days there's this whole trend of like old money, blah, blah, this is lifestyle. Like, so I guess it's nice that's a trend, but I have been living authentically like that for years. And it's because it was authentic to me that after a while, people start to resonate that with my style. Now, another example, I was already a multi-millionaire and I didn't own a car. Now it's funny because I get people telling me, oh, but you know, you flex for social media. I'm gonna try to say this in the least douchey way possible, but I know I'll still come across as douchey. I had made tens of millions of dollars before I ever bought my first car. The reason why? I just didn't care. I didn't have a use for it. I didn't have a purpose for it. It was not something that was important in my life. The cities I was living in geographically, it just didn't really make sense. And then eventually when I bought my first car, you would think, okay, he's bought his first car. It's gonna be this crazy Ferrari, Lamborghini. It was a Range Rover. And since then, fair enough, I have a pretty sizable car collection. But the point is, I had already made tens of millions of dollars before I ever bought my first car. And my first car was just a utility vehicle, a Range Rover. Now, I'm not saying this to say that I'm some monk and I don't spend any money and oh, look at me. No. I spent money on things that were authentic to me and that I genuinely enjoyed and appreciated. I love horology. I've always loved horology ever since I bought my first watch, which was a Timex Expedition for 20 pounds at Argos. Anyone who lives in Britain knows what I'm talking about there. And yeah, I spent millions and millions and millions of dollars on watches before I ever bought my first car. Why? Because that was just authentic to me, okay? I invested and showcased something I love, which is watches, and I've been doing that for years and years and years. Now, once again, even watches in the last 4 or 5 years, it's become a thing, but when I first started buying them seriously, like heavily investing, 7, 8 years ago, once I started doing okay for myself financially, I guess you could say, it wasn't like a thing back then. And I think it's just this whole like being yourself and being unapologetically yourself, whether people like it or they don't, where people trust you, okay? People trust you and people trust that you are not doing anything that isn't truly you. There's something that they may not agree with, there's some things they may not do themselves, but they respect it because like, you know what, this guy's not trying to be anyone who he's not. And I have to